There is word that North Korea's leader Kim Jong-un may be willing to drop a key condition for giving up his nuclear program. South Korea's President Moon Jae-in said today that the North wants all nuclear weapons out of Korea, but is no longer insisting that U.S. troops withdraw first. In Geneva, though, the U.S. ambassador to the Conference on Disarmament, Robert Wood, said the North must turn words into actions.
It takes two to tango, and the North has to be willing to take steps that the North itself has said in the past it was willing to take. So we'll have to see what happens. These are high-stakes discussions, assuming they take place.
Last night, President Trump said he would walk away from a planned summit with Kim if it's not fruitful. CIA Director Mike Pompeo met secretly with the North Korean leader over Easter. And today, Pompeo's nomination for Secretary of State got a boost. Democratic Senator Heidi Heitkamp said that she will vote for him. That could be just enough to ensure he's confirmed. The U.S. State Department charged today that it has credible information that Russia is working to, quote, sanitize the site of a suspected chemical attack in Syria. A spokeswoman gave no details, but said that efforts are clearly underway to remove incriminating evidence. The police commissioner of Philadelphia has apologized to two black men arrested at a Starbucks last week. They had been waiting for a business meeting when the store called police. The incident sparked protests over racial profiling. Commissioner Richard Ross initially defended the action, but today he said he failed miserably in handling the situation.
I should not at all be the person that is a party to making anything worse relative to race relations. Shame on me if in any way that I've done that.
The men who were arrested said today there were moments that they wondered if they would survive the incident. No criminal charges will be filed in the drug overdose death of the musician Prince in April 2016. A Minnesota prosecutor announced today that there is no clear evidence of how Prince obtained the pill that killed him. There is evidence that he thought he was taking the painkiller Vicodin. Instead, the pill contained fentanyl, a synthetic opioid that is 50 times more powerful than heroin. In Poland, church bells sounded and sirens wailed today, marking 75 years since the Warsaw Ghetto Uprising. In April 1943, Jewish fighters held out for a month against Nazi troops before being crushed. Today, Poland's president visited the grave of the uprising's commander and paid tribute to the thousands killed. He also defended a new ban on saying Poland was complicit in the Holocaust.
I am sure that whenever anyone talks about the responsibility or the co-responsibility of the Polish state for the Holocaust, that person hurts the feelings of Poles and also hurts the feelings of Jews who are Polish citizens.
More than 3 million of the 3.2 million Jews in pre-war Poland died in the Holocaust. California Governor Jerry Brown says that he has reached a deal to deploy more National Guard units to the Mexico border. Last night, he announced federal funding will pay for 400 troops to fight gangs and drug smuggling, not for immigration enforcement. President Trump disputed the claim today. He tweeted, "The federal government will not be paying for Governor Brown's charade. We need border security and action, not words." NASA's new planet-hunting spacecraft is shooting toward the stars on a search for worlds that might support life. It's named TESS for Transiting Exoplanet Survey Satellite. The satellite blasted off last night from Cape Canaveral, riding a SpaceX rocket. It will spend 2 years identifying planets around nearby stars with potentially livable temperatures. The U.S. Senate has narrowly confirmed a new administrator of NASA today. Republican Congressman Jim Bridenstine won on a party line vote of 50 to 49. Democrats had challenged his non-space background and questioning of climate science. And in a historic first, Illinois Senator Tammy Duckworth, in a wheelchair, held her newborn daughter as she voted no. Senate rules changed just last night to permit babies on the floor. In economic news, the New York Times reports that Wells Fargo will likely be fined $1 billion for a series of infractions. They include making customers buy auto insurance policies that they did not need. And on Wall Street today, the Dow Jones Industrial Average tumbled 83 points to close below 24,665. The Nasdaq fell 57 points, and the S&P 500 dropped 15. Still to come on the NewsHour, the end of the Castro era in Cuba. An island-wide power outage underscores Puerto Rico's fragile recovery. How a trade battle with China could shift the U.S. economy, and much more.